A refugee is a person who has been forced to leave their home country and is not able to return safely. It can be because of war, persecution, violence, natural disasters, sexual orientation, or other human rights violations. Currently, there's about 65 million of them around the world who have been forcibly displaced. Over the years, I've met some heartwarming refugees who have opened up to me about their life stories. So I want to share with you 3 of them today, starting in Seoul, South Korea. This is Nara.
네, 저는 대한민국에 살고 싶어서 북한에서 왔습니다.
22-year-old Nara was born and raised in an upscale family in North Korea, but she wasn't happy with her life, so she escaped with her mom, leaving the rest of her family and friends behind. I got the chance to sit down and chat with Nara today in Seoul to hear her full story.
안녕하세요. 저는 함경북도 청진에서 온 강나라입니다.
She's come from 함경북도 청진 City, North Korea.
언제 같이 북한에 살았어요?
저는 이제 2015년도에 탈북을 해서 지금은 이제 대한민국에 살고 있어요.
Yeah, 2015 she escaped North Korea.
And why did you leave North Korea?
저는 이제 북한에서 좀 사는 것도 괜찮았는데 자유가 그리워서.
The reason why she decided to escape North Korea is she missed liberty.
How did you physically leave the country?
저는 이제 브로커를 통해서 탈북을 했고요.
She paid like $10,000 almost, and she swim the Amrok River between China and Korea, and she went to the other Chinese city.
연길.
연길, and 청도, 군명, Thailand.
Thailand?
Yeah.
So you went from North Korea to China to Thailand?
She stayed in the jail in Thailand for 1 month, and they contacted the Korean government and came back to Korea.
So they allowed her to come.
Yeah.
What are the biggest struggles or difficulties adjusting to South Korean culture?
생땅에 와서 이제 사니까 정말 힘들고요.
In the beginning, she of course some difficulties with the language part. It's different country, especially the food part. 삼겹살, 떡볶이. Yeah, she really loves this. Yeah, chickens. Yeah, these food are not in North Korea.
Which life do you like better, living in North Korea or South Korea?
저는 지금은 그냥 북한에서 살면 좋은 점이 정말.
So she lives in South Korea. It's really hard. She should move fast and working harder. But in North Korea, she feels really free and doesn't need to move fast. Doesn't need to work harder.
So she prefers North Korea.
대한민국이죠, 그래도.
She prefers South Korea.
South.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you keep in touch with your family and friends back home, and is it hard to keep in touch with them?
It's not easy, but it's available. So she paid $500, and the phoning the Chinese phone call in the barrier of North Korea.
Can I ask you about your background in North Korea? I think you're quite young. Going to school, what were your interests?
Actually, her life in North Korea is quite rich. But she wanted to find the liberty. That's why she escaped. Yeah.
Do you plan to stay here forever?
이제 한국 처음 왔을 때는 저는 원래 북한 가려고 했어요.
When she came here for the first time in the beginning, she thought she's going back to North Korea one day, but now just keep living 4 years. So and then she doesn't think anymore of going back to North Korea.
Do you think North and South Korea are more different or more similar?
North Korea and South Korea are really different, she felt. Yeah, especially in the beginning, when she went to supermarket, then she couldn't use that her word what she used in North Korea. So it was totally different, and that's why she was a little bit scary to go out, hang out. Yeah.
Are you ever scared that people here are going to find out you're from North Korea?
전혀 그렇진 않은 것 같아요. 처음에는 이제
Actually, it's not dangerous at all. It's not scary at all because she worried a little bit in the beginning, but after she opened in the video on the TV, and many people just recognized her, and it was really fun and happy. So now no problem at all.
It was a special experience to meet Nara and hear her life story, because when I spent 4 days in North Korea back in 2017, we were at the top of the Juche Tower in Pyongyang. I never got the chance to have a full conversation with a local. This girl has some courage to do what she's done at such a young age, and I think she has a very bright future down here south of the border. Next, I take you to Reykjavik Iceland, where we learn about the traumatic yet inspiring life story of an Afghan refugee. This is Syed.
And I'm an Afghan refugee living in Reykjavik Iceland.
This 20-year-old guy survived a very rough childhood. I say survived because some of his friends and family members didn't.
When I was in a young age, the Taliban take over the village and they burned down my school, and they beaten up so many people. So I have seen many dead bodies right in front of my eyes with blood and everything, and I have walked onto them.
His uncle was killed by the Taliban, his brother was severely injured, and all that mixed with a tanking economy and the looming threat of the Taliban taking his life, Syed was forced to leave home at 14.
They have come to my house and they were searching for some stuff in my house because my brothers were in politics.
He walked across the mountains to Iran.
But I unfortunately couldn't make it at the time, so they deported me back in Afghanistan. So I again left Afghanistan in 2016.
He then made his way to Turkey, then Greece, Holland, and now he lives here in Iceland.
After 7 months of being here, I granted asylum for 4 years. Now I'm happy, so I have my passport and my documents in hand. I can travel all around Europe.
Syed's life has been reborn in this country. He has found happiness and friendship.
Slowly I'm integrating into society, and it's been really nice experience for me. This is Miguel, so he's from Spain, but he works here, so basically he comes every morning to my shop. He gets coffees and chocolates and everything to my place.
He's a nice guy?
He's very nice.
He currently has 2 jobs. The first is working behind the counter at a downtown supermarket.
He's very nice and always smile. I can always count on him, so that's very important in our job.
His second and more inspiring job is to help other refugees find their path to seek asylum and live freely in this society.
I pick up the family with 3 members of them, like the father and 3 kids. They were sleeping in the park in the winter. There was no one care about them. So we had to pick them up, and they were living with me in my own apartments. I had a bedroom and living room, so they were living with me in the same apartments.
He helps them build their resumes, find jobs, and deal with translations, because this brilliant young man can speak 9 languages.
Dari, Pashto, Uzbek, Turkish, Spanish, Arabic, English, Urdu, and some Icelandic.
Syed is very personable and just has a very kind heart. He plans to stay in Iceland for a while because unfortunately he cannot go back home until there's peace. And are you scared to go back home?
Of course, no, I'm not scared, because if I go back home, there's like 100% chance I would get killed. Since I've been speaking against the politicians, I've been speaking against Taliban through social media, through everything, and I have videos on the YouTubes and everywhere. So it's a big threat for me. Talibans they're not humans. They have nothing as such a thing called humanity. They killed young people. I was witness. They killed 19 years old guy, and they killed my uncle and they injured my brother. So which is now he's paralyzed. He can't walk anymore. So they destroy the lives, and they don't care about anything. And they say they're following Islam. Okay, if you're following Islam, read the book. Where the book have been written to go kill innocent people and who are Muslims. So just show me a single verse in the Quran. So they're not really Muslims.
It was humbling to meet Syed today and hear about his devastating life story. It's a story that needs to be shared with the world to understand exactly how hard it is to be a refugee. It was not his choice to be born into this life, but he's made the best of it and he has a very bright future ahead. Before the video's over, there's one more thing that Syed wants to tell you.
This is my message to everybody in the world. Please, just keep helping each other. If you see somebody is in need, please help them. And the skin of your color, your religion should not be the matter. The one thing is matter, we are all humans. We are from the same race. Just think, we came from the same race. Should be for us a very important thing. We should not hate each other because of some things that we human beings have created. So we should be loving each other, and everybody deserves to be loved.
And finally, we head over to the Philippines to find out about why one Syrian guy was forced to leave home. This is Basel.
And I am a Syrian who fell in love with the Philippines. Yes. I left Syria in 2013, so this coming January it's gonna be like 7 years. I left Syria because of the situation, you know, there was war going on in there, so my parents decided that it's more safe for me to leave the country.
I know a lot of you know what's going on in Syria. I won't dig deeper into it. We had a very tough time. Bombings started to reach our neighborhood, so we knew it was time to let go.
Of course, the challenging part, it started with me when I first came in the Philippines because I had no idea about life. I was basically a teenager, so I don't know how to cook, I don't know how to wash my clothes. It's really hard when you don't see your family for a long time. I had to call my mom to tell me how to cook and what to eat. It was really challenging and it was really tough. I was crying for 6 months. It took me 6 months to adapt to the life in here, so now I feel so happy because it feels just like my home.
The reason I'm telling you Basel's story today is not to dwell on the past or for you to feel sorry for what he's been through. It's to share how remarkable he's turned his life around and made his home in the Philippines.
I ended up studying, learning English, learning Tagalog, and then starting my first business in the Philippines.
Inspired to share his story publicly, he picked up a video camera and started posting on YouTube.
So my videos are basically about helping Filipinos, fun, and food. This is what I focus on.
Almost 1 million subscribers later, it turned into a career.
The first video that got viral for me, it was eating Filipino street food.
But making videos is not all that he's up to. Basel has other business ventures, such as this milk tea place on the south side of Manila.
Actually, doing milk tea, it was never planned. I didn't have knowledge about making milk tea. I didn't have knowledge about making burgers. I wanted to do this because I know Filipinos love milk tea, and I wanted to deliver something to the Filipinos who I love, something that they also love. Of course, we're making a diner, so this is how a diner is supposed to look like.
None of these things in Basel's life would have been possible to accomplish back in Syria. The Philippines has provided him with endless opportunities and stability, and the Filipino people have welcomed him in with open arms.
I messaged him. He was doing a vlog around my area in Alabang. So I messaged him if he wanted to tour my village, which is Ayala, Alabang. So that's how we met. So I was his subscriber.
And then now we became best friends because we both live in the south, and he's such a nice guy.
He came here knowing nothing about the culture, knowing nothing about everything. I mean, he just came here solo. For me, that's something to be admired. It's not easy to come in a country not knowing anything.
Here in the Philippines, they treat foreigners with respect. You walk in the street, you're vlogging, everybody is smiling at you, looking at the camera, waving at you.
Yeah, look right here.
Right? Tama? Hi guys.
Go ahead.
Sige, picture. Alright. Thank you.
Okay, so continue.
So that's the example that I always mention to people. Sometimes you walk in another country, you might see people staring at you, or if you're taking video, they will cover. Here in the Philippines, it's the opposite. People are very kind, very generous, and they are the most welcoming people I have been with.
It's been great to connect with Basel and hear his story and love for the Philippines, which, as you already know, I agree with completely. This country is amazing in every single category across the board, and I'm also excited to visit his country of Syria in a few months.
Masaya po ako makasama kayo niyon. Mahal ko kayo. Maraming salamat po. I love you so much, guys, and I love being with you here in the Philippines. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
I'll end this video by saying that it's just not fair. Nobody can choose where he or she is born, and it's really sad that they are forced to leave their friends, family, and loved ones behind for unexpected reasons. I will never understand the pain and misery that refugees go through, but I hope this video sheds some light so we can all have empathy and hope for a better, safer world where they can finally return home. I'm Drew Binsky, and if you like my travel videos, please click subscribe and join me as I plan to visit every country in the world.